Okay, we are going to get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's masterclass. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're going to dive into something, that impacts every single deal you do in real estate, and that is your first impression. Now, here's the truth. Clients don't wait until the end of your listing presentation to decide whether to hire you. They don't wait until you've shown them comparables. They don't wait until you've toured 10 or 12 homes. They make their decision in the first 30 seconds. Okay, and here's the kicker. First impressions are sticky. If you start scattered, you'll spend the entire meeting or presentation digging yourself out of that hole. But if you start strong, everything else flows easier. So today, I'm so excited to walk you through my 4-part formula for mastering the first impression: presence, opening line, warmth, and value. By the end, you'll know exactly how to show up so your clients feel both trust and respect in under a minute. So, decisions are made in 30 seconds. I've seen this over and over again and have experienced it over and over again. So let's start with the science. Psychologists tells us that in every interaction, we're really asking two things. Can I trust you? And can I respect you? That's broken down into warmth and competence. So first impressions equal about 93% of nonverbal. And here's the wild part. 55% of that judgment is based on your body language. 38% is your tone of voice. And get this, only 7% is your words. Let's say that again. 55% is based on your body language, the way you stand straight, the way you show open palms to garner some trust, eye contact, a strong handshake, your mannerisms. 38% is your tone, so your inflection, the speed of your delivery. And only 7% are words. So what does that tell us? We have to make them feel a certain way before we tell them the data and the facts. So before you've even gotten through the hello, they've already formed an opinion. Okay, so let me show you. Here's a bad version. Imagine the setting here. I'm about to walk into an appointment to meet clients. Imagine I walk in, my phone in hand, I'm muttering, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I'm late. It was so crazy on the freeway. It's been a crazy day." What are you thinking? Probably, this person cannot handle my $1 million home sale. But here's a good version. I pause outside, put back my shoulders, and I walk in calm, smile, and I say, "Thanks for having me. I know this is a big decision for your family." So what's your impression of that? Steady, confident, trustworthy. So think about this. The same agent and two different stories. Now, I once saw two agents at the same open house. One sat scrolling on her phone. Buyers walked in, looked around, and left in 2 minutes. The other stood at the door, smiled, and said, "Welcome in. What brought you in today?" That agent left with 3 clients. Same house, same market, different impression. These things matter. Always ask yourself, how am I showing up today? How am I going to make somebody feel? Am I putting this 4-process method into place with every interaction? And guys, this is open houses, listing presentations, networking events. meeting strangers at the grocery store. Our presence matters. Our body language matters. How we say things matter. Not so much those words. Remember those really big percentages, 55% body language, 38% tone, and only 7% of the actual words you are saying. Okay, so let's go into presence. It equals competence. You can feel presence is how you communicate competence. Presence doesn't mean arrogance. It means calm confidence. So let me act this out for you. So here's a bad presence. I'm slouched in my chair. My shoulders are hunched forward. I'm avoiding eye contact. You're shuffling notes. You sound rushed. Oh, I'm so sorry I'm late. Traffic was so crazy. It's just been one of those mornings. How did that make you feel? Probably like you can't trust me with one of the largest transactions of your life. But good presence, okay? Again, stand up tall, shoulders back, lean slightly forward into the person you're talking to. Not too much. We don't want to make them uncomfortable. But lean in the sense that you care, you're turning on your active listening, and you're ready to make the business happen, okay? So thank you for having me. I know this is a big decision for your family, okay? So I said that again because I want you to take that in, what difference it makes from slouching over, ruffling through papers, to standing tall, okay? So that one shift can tell a client, this agent has it together, okay? So let's go to how to show authority instantly. Here's a bad version. Imagine you're meeting a client, not at their house, but imagine you're meeting them at Starbucks. So you walk in rushing, you drop your bag, out of breath. Traffic was crazy. I'm so sorry I'm late. Oh, I see you already got a drink. I'm going to go ahead and stand in line and go get another drink. No. Even with a polished buyer roadmap, they're doubting me already. So a good version, I arrive a few minutes early, stand to greet them and say, I'm glad we could connect today. I pulled some things that will make this process easier for you. Now, that one moment tells the client, this agent has it together. And I want to go back that if you are meeting them at a coffee shop or somewhere outside of their home and there's drinks involved, you need to get there early. Text them in advance what their drink order is. In fact, in my buyer questionnaire, the very, very first meeting I have with them, whether it's a Zoom or a strategy call, one of my questions is, what is your coffee order? Or what is your drink order? I want to have that ready for them because what I don't want to do is allow room for awkwardness. They walk in, imagine me sitting there with my drink or coffee. They walk in and go, well, okay, I guess I'm going to go wait in line for my coffee. And now I'm just sitting there waiting for them. It's awkward. Have their drink ready for them and arrive early. That's imperative to making them feel that you are prepared. Okay. So frazzled versus steady. So here's another story for you. Sellers once told me, hey Val, the other agent seemed nice, but she definitely was frazzled. You felt steady. That's why we aligned with you. So let's unpack that a little bit. What could steady mean? How could they have picked that up on a first impression? Well, I stand tall. I was calm. I was leaning in with my questions with them. Okay, I made them feel a certain way. And I've said this in other trainings, but one thing we all as humans need to constantly work on is how to respond to situations, how to respond to questions instead of reacting. And that's how they're going to get that calmness from you. Okay? On Zoom one time, an agent One agent sat back in a dark room and the buyers thought he wasn't serious. Another one turned on lights. They leaned forward, smiled. Same knowledge, only one got the deal. So your environment matters. And here's some really fun social cue tricks for any type of Zoom session that you're doing with clients. This is psychology backed. There's been a lot of studies on this specific topic. But what you don't want to do on a Zoom is have it so zoomed in that they only see your face. You want to zoom it out enough to where they see at least your hands. And when you open up those meetings, just like I'm doing right now, have open palms. It shows trust. If I'm hiding my palms behind my back, or I have them clenched, this could be a sign of nervousness, okay? Or I'm uneasy about this situation. But open palms, hi, welcome to our Zoom session. I brought a roadmap to make this journey a lot easier and transparent for you, okay? That's the calmness that I bring and the steadiness that I bring. So make sure every environment you're in with your clients is producing that calmness for them. So the right lighting, the right, how much you're zooming in on your session, right? Push back your computer and camera a bit. Make sure that they can see your open palms, okay? Especially if it's the first time that they're meeting you. Okay. And same thing if they're meeting you at a coffee shop or in your conference room. Stand up to greet them. Go for the handshake first. Okay. These little things matter. Have you ever been in a situation where you're meeting someone and one goes for a hug, one goes for a handshake, and it blows apart and is extremely awkward? We are the consultants. We are the professionals. So control all those little things. So if I stand up and even if they're 10 feet away, I'm starting to put my hand out. So they know immediately it's going to be a handshake. Now here's some suggestions for meeting someone for the first time. Don't go in for a hug. Even though you might be a hugger, I'm a hugger. But if I'm meeting you for the first time, I can't assume that you're a hugger as well. So if it's our first time meeting, I put my hand out before you even make it my way, because that signals to you that it's going to be a handshake. And what you want to do is have it parallel like this to their hands. And if it's the first time you're meeting them, you just want to shake it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. If you're meeting them for a second time, it would just be 1 time. But you guys need to control these little things because people will take you a little more serious when you're in control of how you're trying to make them feel, okay? You want to make them feel that you are the professional and that you are the advisor and the consultant here. And little things like this, remember, you got about 30 seconds to make that first impression strong, okay? Now, if it's a second or third time you're meeting them and you've established you're in a huggy relationship, go for the hug, but shouldn't be on the first time, okay? It's just some little tips and tricks for you. Okay, so this next section is one of my favorites. So the opening line. Okay, so your first words set the tone. Remember, the tone's a big part of this calculation and formula. Most agents and most humans, we do this all the time, start with, "Hi, how are you today?" It's fine, but it's forgettable. So let's do the contrast. Here's a good version. "Hey, thanks for welcoming me into your home. I pulled some insights. I think you'll want to see this." Now that lands, right? "Thank you for welcoming me in. I pulled some insights." Okay. Here's another tip and trick for you when you're trying to build trust just throughout. So let's take ourselves out of an official presentation or meeting with someone. Instead of saying, "Hi, how are you?" because that leads to, "Hi, how are you?" "Good. How are you?" "Great." "Okay, great." Surface level. Not bad, but again, forgettable. You can try something when someone says, "Hi, how are you?" You can say, "Oh, I'm, a 5 out of 10 today." That opens up conversation a little more. Or one of my favorites, and I've heard this before, is, "Hey, I look better than my inbox does." Again, it opens more conversation and trust with who I'm talking to. Or instead of simply saying, hi, how are you? Instead, you can ask, hey, what's been the best part of your day? Right? What was the best part of your weekend? I'd love to hear more about that, okay? Because that's how you're going to continue to build trust with people that you don't know. All right, so building your script bank. So here's a story. At a listing appointment, I said, hey, I pulled your cells on your street and noticed a trend I think you will want to hear. Later on, the seller eventually told me, hey, that's when I knew, Val, you were the right fit. At a buyer consultation, I opened up with, here's the roadmap I use so you never feel lost in the process. The wife literally excelled and said, that's exactly what we need. Okay. So build three. So, okay, here's what I suggest for you guys. And this is your homework. I want you to build 3 go-to openings for sellers and 3 for buyers. You can blend gratitude with preparation. Practice until it's natural. Just like everything in life, the more you do something and the more consistent you are doing it, the more confident you're going to be when you're actually in front of these situations, okay? So here's some examples. Thanks for welcoming me. I pulled cells on your street. And for the buyer, here's a roadmap we'll follow. And I've already mapped out homes that fit you. So come up with your own. Use ChatGPT to help you. Use the ones that are comfortable to you. Don't force yourself to say things that make you uneasy. This is where you now start finding who you are and what behavioral traits are more natural for you and what makes you shine. So I challenge you to come up with 3 for sellers and 3 for buyers. Okay? And it's going to make the world of difference because the more you do it, the easier and more natural it's going to be for you. So your first word should say, I respect your time and I came prepared. So I'm going to say that again. When you start writing these out, how are you going to, in your own words, tell them, I respect your time and I came prepared. Okay. Warmth equals trust. Charisma equals comfort. Okay. I'm going to say that again. Warmth equals trust and charisma equals comfort. Authority matters, but without warmth, you're intimidating. Now, on the flip side, my friends, without authority, you're soft. So you need both. And here's the difference, okay? Cold authority. Imagine sitting in front of clients and you're stiff and you're reading through everything that you have to offer. You have no smile and you're really serious because you know what's up. You've been doing this and you've been learning and you know the data. You have your hands clasped tightly in front of you. Your voice is clipped and fast and businesslike. John, your home is worth about $550,000. I ran the numbers this morning. How does that make you feel? Not very warm and fuzzy. Now, there are some personalities that would align with that type of behavioral traits, but not everyone. Now, warm authority. I'm going to soften my posture, relax my shoulders, smile gently, and I'm going to lean slightly forward when I'm talking to my clients. John, I know this can feel overwhelming. My job is to make it simple for you. Now, how does that make you sound? Now, here's some additional social cues you can use if you need to heighten your warmth. You can do a head tilt. When they're talking, you can do a 3 nod, okay? It shows them that you're listening, that you're thinking. The open palms, again, is an important one. So depending on who you are in front of, and it's so imperative for us to understand who our clients are, you may have to adjust your dials. You naturally, my friends, I found myself in situations where I am too warm, okay? I'm too warm. Well, guess what I have to heighten? The competence level. So you got warmth and you got competence. If I'm too warm, they'll think I'm too soft and can't take them to the finish line, even though that's who I am naturally. I'm a very soft-spoken person. But in this business and in sales, I have learned over practice and practice and repetition to dial up my competence. And learning that confidence has been a game changer for me, because now I can go in front of every type of clients with enough competence, because I know my data, I know my market, I know the power of my negotiation skills. And so I walk a little taller because of that. But I don't forget to dial up or dial down the warmth cues as well. And when you master both of them, you should be able to work with all types of clients. And then fast forward your business, you start niching down on who you want to work with. But until then, we have to work sometimes with all types of clients. But I have to dial those two dials appropriately with the idea that I need to get them to trust me. So I challenge yourself after this webinar to go and study these things about yourself. Do you walk around with too much warmth? Are you more on the people pleaser side like I've always been? And we got to dial up the competence so we show that we're the professionals, that we show we're consultants, and why they need to listen to us. Can you control a narrative and control a conversation? If you can't yet, that's fine. It's something that can be learned. I consider all these things skills. These are skills you need to be successful in this business. Now, if you're on the flip side and your competence is through the roof and you kind of know about yourself, yeah, I know I don't come off warm and fuzzy, what social cues can you start implementing to let people feel that warmth from you? Again, is it the head tilt, a subtle smile, repeating and mirroring what people are saying, leaning in a little more to them so it shows your active listening is turned on? So which one are you? Put it in the chat, actually. I want you to put in the chat which one you think you are more in line with naturally, or if you're both, okay? All right. So you see, I just want to make sure you see the difference. One feels sharp but cold, and the other one feels confident and safe. That's warmth plus authority. That's charisma. So again, charisma is built through warmth and confidence mixed. So in short, cold authority equals rigid, transactional, intimidating. Warm authority, you're still confident but approachable. You're calming and trustworthy. So how to add warmth? Here's some additional tips and tricks for you. Smile warmly, sit forward slightly, hands open on the table. Here's an example. Hey, let's talk about how to actually add warmth, okay? Here's what it looks like. A smile that reaches your eyes, okay? Mirror their energy. Use names early. Using names is such an important part of this equation and formula. So if I'm walking into a house, John, hey, listen, thanks for having me today. I know this is a really big decision for your family. Hey, John, I'd love for you to take me on a tour around your house. Hey, John, I see these photos on the wall. Tell me more about your time in India. Hey, John, what do you think the home value is for your house? Okay? The more you use someone's name, and this is just, there's so much psychology behind this and so many statistics, the more they're going to trust you, okay? So let's go on to the next one here. I'll make this simple for all of you. Walls dropped instantly. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to pull up some notes here and take a sip of my coffee. In just a bit, we're going to get more into my 4-part formula that I can't wait. Okay. But another trip, slow down when someone feels nervous, okay? So if you find someone rushing or they're nervous, and don't forget, your clients are usually just as nervous to meet you, okay? So when people are anxious, if you speed up, you escalate their tension, okay? So if they're speeding up, I want you to breathe, pause, and slow down, and they'll start mirroring you back and relax. So you see the power of us controlling the situation with the main effort of calming nerves and needing people to like, know, and trust us. And it's as easy as that. When you start picking up on these behavioral traits, you know then what you need to do on your side, okay? And again, that's the warmth. It's not about being overly friendly. It's about helping people feel safe and understood, okay? So here's a story. Walls dropped instantly. So first-time home buyers once brought their parents. Their dad sat back, arms crossed. I smiled and said, "I'll make this simple for all of you." His body language shifted immediately. Here's another example. At an open house, an engineer asked slow, detailed questions. I matched his pace. Later he said, "Hey, you spoke my language and I really appreciate that." So smile genuinely. Let it reach your eyes, okay? Use names early. Mirror their energy. And slow down when people are nervous. So I hope you take these tips and tricks away. And again, write them down. Study them and see which behavioral traits you start picking up on people and how you can control the direction it's going. So charisma isn't about being flashy. It's about making people feel safe and understood. This is so important to me because as I started researching all these behavioral traits, psychology-backed studies, it really changed my relationship with clients and getting them to the next level. Okay. I want you guys to be the advisor, not the salesperson. Okay? The fastest way to shift from salesperson to trusted advisor, add value immediately. So here's a bad version. So tell me about your house. Good version. Before we dive in, I noticed homes on your street are selling faster than average. That gives us leverage. So you see right there at the beginning, I'm adding value right away. Okay, here's another story. Sellers once interviewed two other agents. Both opened with, "Hey, tell me about your house." I led with inventory stats. They later told me that's why we picked you, because you came prepared. The other agents didn't come with anything. You know how many times I hear that on my listing presentations? I come with my folder, with comparables, with the listing paperwork, with all of my marketing materials. And I have fun gifts that I leave them too. I have heard so many times when sellers are interviewing multiple agents, I'm the only one that actually brought something. So remember that. Be the one that stands out, not the one that shows up not prepared, okay? A buyer once said, "Hey, we chose you, Val, because you came prepared." One of the things I never do is frantically get ready for a buyer presentation or a listing presentation because I have everything printed ready to go. So my only focus preparing is knowing everything about that neighborhood, property, statistics, how fast things are moving around that area, and that's my expertise. Okay? And the more expertise you bring to all these appointments, the more confident you're going to be. Then all of this stuff we're going over today, my friends, is the polish. It's the sprinkles on top. It's a sugar on top to take you from average to elevated, okay? So my opening words were, "Hey, I found 3 homes under budget that hit your wish list." So imagine I just come right away, right? I came prepared. So here's your checklist. Prepare 1 value hook before every appointment. I want you to keep it short and specific and use real-time insights. Inventory, rates, neighborhood, demand, all that fun stuff. Your job as you're preparing is to only understand everything about that area, whether your client is interested in that area or your client wants to sell in that area. Your client should feel in the first 30 seconds, this person already has value for me. Okay, here's a 4-part formula. So let's pull it all together, my friends. The 4-part first impression formula. Presence. So you want to be steady and confident, and people will feel that from you. If I'm not steady and I'm not confident and I'm pretending to be, they're going to feel that from me. That's a certain energy I'm going to be giving out. But if I prepared myself with all the stuff that I bring with me to every appointment, and I truly master that area where I know the stats and the data and the market trends and the demand, I automatically will feel steady and confident. Just like everything in life, you guys have to be prepared, okay? Now your opening line, again, you want to be able to do that opening line and put some gratitude and preparation into it. You want them to feel that you're grateful to be there, and here's what I've done for you, okay? That's the thought I want you to have when you're trying to create these. Warmth and charisma, smile, names, mirrored energy, and the last one, immediate value. One prepared insight. Presence, line, warmth, value. There you go, my friends. That is the 4-part formula to master a first impression. You cannot get these first impressions back. And again, I would say the biggest takeaway from all of this is being prepared, because then you get to focus on all this fun stuff. Okay? So here's your challenge. At your very next appointment, reset your presence before you walk in. Okay? So if you're walking into a listing appointment, take a deep breath outside. Shoulders back, phone is put away, folders in hand, and get ready to lean in and greet with intention. Use one intentional opening line, okay? Hey, John, thanks for having me. I know you guys have been busy, and it means a world to me that you're letting me inside your house. And smile like you mean it. Again, you should be having those little lines scrunched over here. And drop one value hook. Hey, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to make sure that we're using my buyer roadmap to ease all your pain. My friends, first impressions are not luck, they're strategy. And in this business, your entire career is built on, you ready for this? Conversations. Control the first 30 seconds, and you control everything that comes after that. I hope you guys took away 1 or 2 things from this training. Thank you so much for being here today. Make sure you download the toolkits in the resources. I'm going to put that up here. Just click the resource button and download everything from today's training. I challenge you to come up with your own hooks, your own value, 3 ways to greet sellers and 3 ways to greet buyers. But more importantly, I want you to study them and I want you to practice them. And that level of preparedness is going to take you to new levels. So now go out and own your first impression. Thank you guys so much for joining us.